Once upon a time, nestled between the rolling hills of nowhere and the quiet valleys of everywhere, lay a forest unlike any other. This was the sleepy forest of echo pines, a place whispered about in bedtime stories and sung in lullabies. In this forest, every sound, no matter how loud or small, was caught by the ancient trees and returned as a soft, gentle echo. A shout became a whisper, a laugh became a sigh, and a sob became a soft hum. The air itself seemed to sleep, thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, a little child named Alara found herself standing at the edge of this very forest. She'd been chasing a butterfly with wings like stained glass, and in her joyful pursuit, she had wandered far from the familiar path home. Now the butterfly was gone and Alara was lost. Her heart began to beat a little faster, a tiny drum in the vast silence. Tears welled in her eyes and a small cry escaped her lips. But instead of a sharp, lonely sound, the forest answered with a gentle, soothing hum that seemed to wrap around her like a warm blanket. Alara blinked, surprised. She took a hesitant step into the forest, her small boots crunching on fallen pine needles. The crunch echoed back, not as a sharp crack, but as the soft rustle of leaves. Fear still tugged at her, but curiosity was a stronger pull. Deeper she went, the tall pines towering over her like gentle giants. She called out, "Hello, is anyone there?" Her voice, usually bright and clear, was returned as a hushed greeting. "Hello, ... double quote, each repetition softer than the last, as if the trees were passing her message along in a secret sleeping language. It was strange, but not scary. The forest didn't feel empty. It felt watchful and calm. Alara remembered her grandmother's words, "When you're lost, don't run. Stand still, breathe, and listen. The world will show you the way." So Alara stopped. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the sweet, woody air. She listened. At first, all she heard were the echoes of her own breathing, a rhythmic rise and fall. Then another sound joined in. It was a faint, melodious whisper like wind chimes made of glass. It seemed to come from a particularly large pine tree just ahead, its branches draped in moss like a green velvety cloak. As she drew closer, she saw tiny glowing fungi clustered on its trunk, pulsing with a soft silver light. The whispering grew clearer. It wasn't words exactly, but a feeling, a suggestion. Calm ... path ... The message seeped into her mind, not through her ears, but through her heart. Alara understood. The forest was trying to help her, but it only spoke to a quiet mind. Her fear had been like a loud noise drowning out the gentle clues. Following the direction of the whispering light, Alara walked on. The forest seemed to open up before her. Tangled roots that might have tripped her now seemed to form natural steps. Thorny bush that could have scratched her appeared to part just enough for her to pass through. Every time a flicker of panic started to rise, she would pause, take a deep breath, and listen. And every time, a new gentle echo would guide her. She heard the distant trickle of a stream, and the echo transformed it into a lullaby of flowing water, guiding her toward a clearing. In the center of the clearing was a small brook, its surface glittering under the moonlight like a trail of fallen stars. Following the stream felt right, like it was an old friend leading her by the hand. The water gurgled happily, and the forest echoed its joy with a soft, contented sigh. As she walked, she noticed the little wonders of the sleepy forest. She saw a family of deer, their movements so silent that only their soft, echoing breaths gave them away. She spotted an owl on a high branch, its hoot returning not as a spooky call, but as a gentle, questioning whoosh. The forest wasn't a place of loud noises and sudden frights. It was a sanctuary of softness, a world painted in hushed tones. It taught her that some things can only be seen and heard when you are still. Alara realized that her fear had been a closed door. It made her want to run and shout, creating a storm of noise that blocked out everything else. But her calmness, her willingness to breathe and listen, was the key that unlocked the door. It allowed her to see the glowing fungi, hear the whispering trees, and feel the guiding pull of the stream. Calmness opened paths that fear could never see. After what felt like both a lifetime and no time at all, the trees began to thin. Through a gap in the canopy, Alara saw a familiar, warm light. It was a lantern hanging on the porch of her own little cottage. A wave of relief and joy washed over her. She wanted to shout with happiness, but she stopped herself. Instead, she turned back to the forest and whispered, "Thank you." The forest replied with its gentlest echo, yet a sound like a fond farewell. Thank you, you. The sound faded. And with one last look at the magical pines, Alara ran the rest of the way home, her heart full not of fear, but of a quiet, wonderful secret. She burst through the door and into the arms of her worried parents. When they asked where she had been, she simply smiled. How could she explain the sleepy forest of echo pines? How could she describe a place where sounds went to dream, and where the trees whispered secrets to those who were calm enough to listen? From that day on, Alara was never afraid of being lost again. She carried the lesson of the forest within her. Whenever she felt scared or confused, she would close her eyes, take a deep breath, and listen for the quiet echo in her own heart, remembering that calmness always opens paths that fear cannot see. And sometimes, on quiet nights, she was sure she could hear the gentle, whispering echoes of the sleepy forest carried on the wind, reminding her of its peaceful magic.